Good morning. It's going to be a busy Monday here. Lots going on today, seed business wise, stuff around the farm, trying to get wheat top dressed. Lots of stuff going on. Let's get to it. First up here this morning, we had a few minutes and Dad had noticed that the protective cover on these front hydraulic hoses was wet a little bit and thought, hey, something must be seeping there. So he took it off and sure enough, we've got a hose rub through here. Now this is a low pressure return line. And so while we should replace it, he's going to clean it up real good and tape it for right now because there's no actual fluid running through it, or there is fluid running through it. It's under low pressure though. It's just dumping back into the hydraulic reservoir. So that one will get fixed, but it'll run for today. Also, this one back here that everybody was picking on me, not everybody, a few people chastised me for not fixing it this winter when we had time because, you know, I should inspect every hydraulic hose on this entire machine every winter. Guys, there's a protective cover on this set of hoses. It was inside of it in here where it rubbed through. Like, you weren't going to find that, right? Like, there's not much I could do short of taking all of it apart. And, well, I don't do that on all of our equipment every winter. Sorry. So, anyway, it is good to go. Dad went to get some stuff to fix that up. I think I'm going to head down to the seed warehouse. I hooked onto the trailer. We're going to try and get a couple deliveries out here today. In addition to treating a bunch of beans, hopefully. But first, I got to go pick something up for my buddies around the corner here. You'll see. All right, we are back. I'll show you that in a second. So this winter, we had a reasonably decent amount of snow that required pushing out of our driveways. And when you do that, you end up with this crap. Stones in our grass. Now, I could get a rake and rake all that out, which is not fun, would take me quite a while. Or I can get this little machine from my buddy. He has an old F935 John Deere mower with a broom attachment, and it works awesome for raking rocks out of your grass. So I went and picked that up from him. I'm going to get all of those out of there. We've got a pile over here, just a little bit along the edges, and then a whole bunch down at the farm as well from all the snow piles that got piled in the edge of the lawn. And we don't want to hit them with the mower, so clean them up here. This is fun. I don't know if the brakes work real good on this thing. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, test run. Not like that. Let's see. Oh boy. We don't need that much speed. Put her down. This is going to be a messy job. Lift her up. Okay, we got a little learning to do here. Figure out what the proper depth is. Okay. Why it kicked itself off. Oh yeah. This is just a light spot here. There's not a lot, but there's a few rocks there. Throws them a long ways. But I got him out. Okay, I'm gonna work on this for a little bit. We're gonna send Xander loose with this later today, I think. But I'm gonna try and do the stuff around my house, and I'll have him do the stuff at the farm. patching your lawn too. All right, I got what I needed to here. Might be some along these edges, we'll see. I'm gonna run down to the farm. I saw Xander just got there. Get a little dirty running it, but it's kind of fun. All right, we'll try and get some more video of that later when Xander's running it. Him and Dad are going to check some wheat fields. So I took it down to the farm and gave him a lesson on how to run it, and now we're gonna work down here in the seed warehouse. We gotta organize a little bit of stuff. I'm hoping that Dalton's coming down today to take those 6 boxes out of here. These are empties here we can stack out of the way, and then we're gonna get some more beans out and start treating. Actually, we might make a delivery here this morning. I've got a guy that's got 5 boxes of corn and a few boxes of beans we can get out of here. It'll create a little room for us, so I'm gonna try and do that. I am sorting some seed out for one of my customers that has 4 boxes of corn, 3 boxes of beans, untreated beans, so we can just take them. However, they like their boxes to have 50 units in them because that's how the rest of the industry apparently does it in 50s, which I'm not sure is entirely true, but they basically want 50 unit boxes. And so ours are typically 45 unit boxes. That's what comes in one normally. So the way that I handle that is to buy 50 units or order 50 units under their account. We get the box with 45, and then we get 5 paper bags. And if it allows, the boxes allow, I will dump the 5 bags in the box for them. Now that eliminates their ability to return it, but they're okay with that. So like this one here, I dumped 5 bags in. There's plenty of room. That'll work. So we're gonna do that. This one is gonna be a little tight. We'll get some in there. Let's see if we get all 5. However, there's another box that I have for them, a variety here, this 111 day. And this one is large seeds. It's actually an R4, which is large rounds. And seeds are so big that we could only get 40 units in this box. So this one would need 10 additional. There's no way they're gonna fit in there. I have some of this variety down there at the farm that I had brought down for us to plant. That is smaller seed with 45 units boxes. I'm going to swap this out. I'm going to keep the large seeds. I'm going to give them one smaller one so that I can hopefully get the 50 units in the box. So we're going to take this down there and swap it. And as much as I want to just go, we're going to throw a strap on it. I don't think we're going to get 5 more units in this box either. These are F3s. They're a little smaller, but this box already weighs almost 2,600 pounds. So we might look in it, but they're probably going to get 5 paper bags. But 5 is better than 10 that it would require with that box. Now I will also get 5 paper bags to make up the difference because I don't care that they're 45 versus 50, but when it's 40 instead of 45, we have to make that difference up because I ordered 45 units, not 40. However, the paper bags don't bother me, and this is kind of one of those examples where the customer gets better seed than the person selling the seed gets, and I take the less desirable for myself. It's the same hybrid. I'm not worried about it performance-wise, just not as much fun from a planting perspective because now I have to handle some bags that I didn't want to do, and they're big seed, which I should be able to plant fine, but you got to make some adjustments for that. Especially that I have 2 other boxes of that same hybrid that are the different seed size now, and when you have mixed seed sizes in a lot or a variety, that it complicates things a little bit. So it is okay. Dad got that hose fixed up like he wants it, I guess, for now. Did I tell you they went to go look at fields? Dad took Xander to go look at wheat fields to see if we can get the top dressing done here today. It's a little wet yet, and there's rain. They're calling for rain every day the rest of the week, starting tonight. So we kind of either go today and get the wheat top dressed ahead of the rain, or we wait and we cut ruts after the rain. But it's probably too wet. We're gonna cut ruts today, so I don't know what we're gonna do, but we might try and finish the wheat today. Yeah, that's a pretty full box. We'll get a couple bags in there. I don't know if we'll get 5, but we'll get some. Well, they're in there. Now the question is, can we get a lid on? I think we'll make it. This is a heavy box. How much do those bags weigh? 60-pound bags, 59.93, so 60 times 5, we put another 300 pounds in a box that already weighed 1,600, or 2,600. So this box weighs a little over 3,000 now with the weight of the box. Good thing we got good forklifts. The guys that are taking this do too. All right, we got those boxes ready to go. Dalton's here. We're going to get him loaded up. He needs 2 boxes from over there. He needs that pile of corn, and he needs those 2 piles of corn over there. And then we're going to load up these 4 boxes, 3 bean boxes, and head out as well. So we're moving here. We're getting things peeled back. That corn pile is shrinking, although it doesn't really look like it. It is getting smaller. Yeah, getting some boxes out helped. The weather looks bad for deliveries this week, but we'll hopefully get a few done. We're going to treat a bunch of beans this afternoon that'll help me clear up a bunch more in here. So slowly but surely. All right, well, while I am loading this trailer up, this first one, I'm going to answer a few questions that I have gotten over and over again about seed business stuff. Can you see me there? Whatever, you're good. I get the question a lot about why we don't handle corn. You guys see me treating beans and handling the beans all the time, but never corn. Well, you saw it today. We do have corn. I do handle the corn, but the corn volume is so much less than what we deal with for beans that it's much less of my time. The other question I get is, why isn't corn treated? Well, again, if you looked in those boxes, the corn is treated. We don't treat corn downstream. When you do it here versus at the processing facilities, we call this downstream treatment. And the reason that we don't do that is because several reasons, but corn is a much higher value seed, right? So a box of corn is worth about 5 or 6 times what a box of beans is worth. And so it's a lot more dollars that you're messing with and could potentially screw up if something happened. We don't run near as much volume, again, of corn as we do of beans. And so where we might treat, 70 boxes of a single variety of beans, and I'm frequently doing 6, 8, 10 boxes of a single variety at a time. With corn, a lot of times we may only have 1 or 2 boxes of a variety or whatever. And so it would be a lot of short runs, a lot of time for clean out, and potential for contamination, that kind of stuff that we don't want to do. And so we don't mess with treating corn. There has been some talk of doing some over-treating stuff, but all of that is done upstream at the processing facilities. We just almost never do corn. I did 1 box last year with an over-treatment product. Didn't really see any results from it, so it's not something we're doing again. That's just the way it is with corn. Another question I get a lot is, why don't we just get the beans brought in treated? Why do I treat them versus having the company do them? Because if they do the corn, they can certainly do the beans, right? True, they could do the beans. There's a good reason for that, several good reasons for that. First and foremost, I make the margin on the treatment when I do it myself versus paying or the company doing that. Now, that said, I charge less for seed treatment, for a identical seed treatment to my customers than what it would cost them if they came pre-treated. That's always been my kind of hard and fast break point. I will not charge more than what you could get them from the company. And so point number 2, it saves my customers money while I make some money in there. So that works out good for both sides of this deal. And then also, it allows me to customize treatments a little bit more. It allows guys to decide later in the year what they want for seed treatments. For example, the inoculant. I can't get inoculant treated beans from Golden Harvest or from any seed company really, because that inoculant has a shelf life. It has to be done within a certain amount of time of planting. Well, when they want to ship beans to me in November, December, it's too early. You can't get that treatment put on. So it causes logistics issues. Same thing with the heads up. Well, not the same thing, because that doesn't have a shelf life as much. But it's not something that Golden Harvest offers that I can. Saltro you could get from the company. Obviously the Cruiser Max Apex you could get company treated, but it just gives us more flexibility to add them or put that on when guys are making decisions, and we're treating the beans later in the year rather than having to decide that in October or November or September, in the fall. So that's a big part of it. It also allows us to treat beans in season or get what we need late. So there is a treatment order deadline. It usually is in the 1st of February, early February, goes to the end date of when we can order treated beans from the company. And so by being able to treat them here, I can treat them right up to replant or double crop season if that's what the guys want. And so we don't worry about having extra treated beans around because I'm not allowed to return very many. I can return a few, but it's a low percentage compared to what I would like to have on hand. And so by having a treater, I can do that as needed whenever they're needed. It allows me to bring in untreated beans, which I can have a ton of extra if we need to, because those are just beans. We can take them to the elevator and sell them if we don't use them at the end of the year, but we can't get rid of extra treated beans nearly as easily. So there's a lot of advantages to that. The treated beans don't store from one year to the next. So if like the beans that I do return to the company, they have to treat them as hazardous waste and dispose of them. Can't store them for next year, which is expensive. That's why they don't allow me to return very many. And so by being able to treat on demand, we don't have to worry about that whole, do we have extra beans and having to dispose of them and all of that kind of stuff. So just simplifies things quite a bit for us to treat them downstream. Here. Got the other guy loaded up and out of here, and I got loaded up and we're getting out of here. So I'm going to deliver this one. This guy's close. He's only 3 or 4 miles from here. We'll get that done quick, and then we're going to go and figure out what Xander's up to, and we're going to treat a bunch of beans this afternoon. Got back from our delivery. We got this thing started again. I'm going to give Xander a quick lesson. I showed him already, but now we're actually running it. So got some pretty major rocks out here in this grass. So we'll see how this thing does. Okay, this one is your hydraulic up and down. Yep. This one here is your PTO under your arm. So go ahead and engage that. Okay. You have to give it a little throttle. Go down. There you go, 2 buttons. Yeah, that's good. They got him. This is awesome. I think Xander's got her figured out there, and that's going to be a little bit of fun for him here. Something different than working in the shop and what we have been doing. So we'll let him work on that for a while. I'm going to go grab some lunch, and then we're going to go out to the seed warehouse and start treating beans. I have got inoculant in this tank. We've got our Cruiser Max Apex in that tank. That's all we're putting in for right now. We do have a couple boxes of Saltro stuff to do. We'll do those at the end. The tank was empty to start with, and just how we're going to do it. We got a lot of beans to treat, a whole bunch. So I've got 4 boxes of this first variety. 2 of them get the inoculant, 2 of them do not. So we'll do the 2 without, and then we'll do the 2 with, and it's fine. But we're just gonna work our way across here, starting with the full season ones that'll be harder for me to get to later. Work our way to the early stuff, using up whatever is in that pile that's the same variety that I'm doing for other people. Basically, the ones that are over there have to stay separate from the ones that I'm going to my customers and that I'm warehousing, because the lot numbers and whatever, they have to stay separate. But they're the same varieties, so we can run them at the same time, and I don't have to worry about cleaning out between varieties and stuff. So anyway, we're getting started. Making our way through the second variety here. We're getting quite a bit done. Most of what was over there was this variety, so that was kind of a bunch. I got Xander down here. He's done with his broom. And we'll get these 4 more of this variety, and then we got to move some here. I need to dig out what's behind these 3.0s. There's some 3.3s back there. I need 2 of. I think I just need 2 of them right now. Last box of this batch. There was a bunch of them. These are all the Group 3 beans. So we had some 3.3s, some 3.0s, and a different 3.3. And that's the full season ones. Now we've got 5 boxes of some 2/8s to treat over there. We do have a truck out here, and he needs to go over there. So we're gonna get that unloaded while this last box of this variety treats. So all these beans on this truck go with ones in the lean-to here. I believe it's the rest of them for this particular customer, but all those go to one guy. Oh, we gotta get them treated yet. He's not in any hurry to get them. I'm not in any hurry to get them treated. Make some room out in the main part here before we worry about bringing those all over. So we'll get these in there and forget about them for a couple of weeks. Working on box number 25 right now, which would be an even 1,000 units done, and we didn't start till 1 o'clock. It's about 4 o'clock now, so that's in 3 hours. That's pretty darn good. Some of these beans are really pretty. Really pretty. They look really nice. So I am using some glitter on the non-inoculated beans. We do not have any of that free flow in. Take what you want out of that, I guess. But the beans look nice. I'm happy with them today. We still got a ways to go. We got 4 boxes for the next batch. And then I'm trying to remember. I think there's 6. Oh, the 2-3 variety. These are 2 6s. These are my little itty bitty beans. Yeah. So yeah, we've got 4 boxes of those, and then we've got 6 boxes of the 2315s plus 1 in the Saltro. And I got 1 box of these 2292s. We might do that one first so that when we make this switch over, we don't have to clean that out twice. If I can get to it. It's buried way back in there. I was wrong earlier when I said we had all the group 3 beans done. I forgot these 2 boxes over here. So the guy that the boxes that were over here were for, he has some ground actually way down in like Athens, Ohio, Southern Ohio, Southeast Ohio. So he's got a box of 3 7s and a box of 3 9s here that we've got to treat. 1 box of each. We'll make sure we clean out real good after we're done with those. We don't need any 3 9s ending up in any of the other beans. Not that we don't always clean out really well, but you know what I mean. Yeah. All right. Rylan came out. We got to take him to baseball practice here in about 15 minutes. So I'm trying to finish up. I got 3 more boxes to like to get done. We're not going to get my 2 Saltro boxes today. That's okay. We'll be all right. We've had the biggest day treating beans I think I've ever had. I've done a lot. I'm going to have to total them all up here. But we did a lot of beans today. Well over 1,000. That's a lot of boxes. Still going. 2 more. Well, I'm going to run out of inoculant right there. I knew it was going to happen. We've got 1.5 boxes left to do. I don't have time to mess with that right now. And we've got to do those other 2 boxes with Saltro. They're also getting inoculant, so we're going to call that a day. That box would have put us over 1,500, so we're 40 units or so short of 1,500 on the day. That's pretty good. Thanks for watching today. That was a productive day, and kind of fun this morning, sweeping stones out of the yard. So we're gonna see if it's raining tomorrow or not. We gotta clean up our mess of all those boxes that's sitting everywhere. Try and get those last 4 boxes finished up treating. And if it's not raining, we'll try and get some deliveries done. If it is, we'll probably go work down in the shop or something. So anyway. Or the basement. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.